everybody. Is my voice scratching? What do you want after 45 years of doing this stuff? I don't care. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new look inside the pigskin. And we got a man with a white hat, and we got one with my hat called Seriously, Really Seriously. And I don't know what Steve has on the back, but at least we can see the front of it, anyways. And we have two that don't have them. Nevertheless, are on the show. We're glad to have everybody. And welcome to the big show. Ben, let everybody know about you, my brother.
I mean, at the end of the day, just repping the orange and blue, Swainsboro, Georgia native, just enjoying the fact that I get to talk football, sports. A long time ago, my mama said, boy, you need to shut your mouth. Don't nobody want to hear all that. Mama, you were wrong, mama. I'm telling you, you were wrong. So, I just look forward to being able to be on these airways with you guys. I think sometimes you talk about being a former player, people always ask, man, what are you going to do after football, man? I said, whatever I'm doing, man, I got to enjoy the people I'm doing it with first. What I do second, I like to say that I proved myself right, and looking forward to being on with y'all.
So what, you play for the Titans, you play for the Gators. Give me more to work with at Hello Jazz 13. Glad you could be on tonight.
I like that you said your mom was wrong at the safety of your own house on camera.
I mean, my mama keep up with what I do, so I might not be invited to Thanksgiving, but it is April, so I'm gonna say, Mama, it was April Fool's Day, so hey, we'll see.
Somehow there's still a sandal coming in the back.
Absolutely.
Well, isn't it ironic? It's April Fool's Day, but the one thing that isn't April Fool's is many years ago I got divorced on April Fool's Day, and that's not an April Fool's Day. But look what I have. I have the Rolls Royce of women, so I guess life isn't so bad anyway. So with that said, the rest of the crew, we have Bo, we have Steve, and we have George Eichhorn that's fixing Tuesday. Get ready. Ben, you're going to work with George Eichhorn at some point. Looking forward to having him on. J.D. Watt, you want to come on this show? I'll tell you what, I got a guy who obviously played in your neck of the woods in J.D. Wyatt and Ben Troop. What a beautiful thing. Great stuff. Steve, glad to have you back on, my brother.
Always, my friend, always.
All right, so let's get to it. Well, we have Bo on for 9:15. Okay, well, that should be pretty good. So we're going to talk about examining the new NFL head coaches, and we'll list them one by one. And I know I can count to 7 or 8. Doesn't matter. Kellen Moore of the Saints. We're going to start off with the new guy, Ben. Good hire by the Saints.
I don't know. I'm gonna say this. I think it is a good hire by the Saints, but I think the Saints might be one of those bottom feeder type teams when you're saying in the NFC South that you haven't been competitive since Sean Payton left, since Drew Brees left. Kellen Moore did it the right way. Hot shot offensive coordinator, but where you was at is not where you at currently. While your bank account and Mrs. Moore is gonna be happy at the fact that you're making more money. There's a reason why they called them the Aints a long time before Drew Brees and Sean Payton got there. I'm not saying they're that now, and this might be the Atlanta Falcons fan coming out of me. I'm not a Saints fan or Saints, but I do think they got the right guy. Can they get the right players? Because I don't know who the youngest team is in the NFL, but I guarantee you the Saints got to be top 5 as the oldest team. It's not good when you got a bunch of old guys being your best players, but I do think they got the right guy. I do think they got the right hire.
All right, so I'm going to go through the list with you, Ben, and then I'll follow suit with everybody else. Brian Schottenheimer with the Cowboys, Ben.
This is the most confusing hire there. This is the most confusing hire there is. I think that Brian Schottenheimer made one team's list, and it was Dallas. I don't think that no other team had him on the list to even bring him in as a potential hire. I know he has, that bloodline. May his daddy, rest in peace. But I think that Brian Schottenheimer is the number one yes man on this list. I think that Dallas want to have a guy that's going to just go with whatever Jerry does. You want to know why Dallas don't win? Because they got a coach that is not going to push back against Jerry Jones, not going to tell Jerry to move out the way. Congratulations to him, but Brian Schottenheimer was just as shocked as everybody else when the Dallas area code popped up on his phone.
You ever heard of the word puppet?
I mean, his name is Brian Schottenheimer. You could call Jerry Jones Geppetto. He's Pinocchio.
Okay, there you go. Then he's heard of the word puppet. Great stuff. Okay. Liam Cohen with the Jaguars, Ben.
Liam Cohen better turn out to be a really, really good hire with everything that happened with Tampa. I mean, he ghosted him for like 72 hours. He wouldn't answer his phone. I don't think Liam Cohen wants Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he has a choice. That's who he has as his quarterback. But I think he looked at what he was able to do with Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to look to do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. But if you can't find a way to win the AFC South, regardless of what Houston is doing, he like I said, he's making a lot of money, but it better work out because that was a crazy situation for him to become the head coach of the Jags.
We'll go on Aaron Glenn of the Jets.
Aaron Glenn is a A++ hire. I think everybody wanted Aaron Glenn. And when you look at Aaron Glenn, learn from Dan Campbell saying, look, I want to go to a team that hasn't been good for a long time. That's one of the laughing stocks of the National Football League right now. Their last good quarterback was I think their last good quarterback, if I can remember, I want to say Sanchez out of USC, and then it was Joe Namath. That's about it. I think Aaron Glenn is going to be a really, really good coach. Bring in Justin Fields. Can he rebuild New York like Dan Campbell did Detroit? Right now, he's really, really good at interviewing in the press conference. It was crazy, but I do think Aaron Glenn was a A++ hire.
Very good. Okay. Mike Vrabel of the Patriots.
Mike Vrabel of the Patriots was supposed to be there 2 years ago, but they did a fill-in for 1 year. I think he was, as soon as he left Tennessee, I thought he was going to be the head coach, of the New England Patriots. I think he's built to be the head coach. Now, will he win? I don't know, but you talk about what he was able to do there as a player, what he was able to do as a coach with Tennessee. It's going to be hard. I don't think nobody can fill the shoes of a Bill Belichick, but if anybody can get close or even get you back to what New England could be, I think Mike Vrabel is the guy to do it.
Sounds good. 2 more to go. Pete Carroll with the Raiders.
Pete Carroll went to the team that nobody else wanted to go to. I mean, I'm a former Raider, but I mean, and I'm not talking about nobody's age here. I'm not aging nobody, but 72 years old and you're a brand new head coach again in the National Football League means that either nobody wants to work under Mark Davis or nobody wants to work for the Raiders. We'll see what happens. It was a shocker for Pete Carroll to be back into the National Football League for what he did with Seattle. But, hey, man, I mean, people like Max Crosby and, Brock Bowers, they need to have a solid culture because I think what's lacking now with the Raiders, bigger than the fact the team is bad, they have no culture there right now.
Finally, Ben Johnson of the Bears.
Ben Johnson of the Bears is going to help Caleb Williams out a lot. You look at what they have dominated in this free agency. They're going to be able to protect this young man. They're going to hopefully get him back to playing or get him to playing meaningful football. And they're trying to get back to the monsters of the Midway. I think Ben Johnson is going to be just like I said about Aaron Glenn. You coming from a place like Detroit, you understand what it's take to get back to winning games. I think Ben Johnson was a really, really good hire. I think he's going to turn things around for Caleb Williams in year 2.
Okay, we're going to turn over to Steven, then I'll go to Bo, and then I'll go to Candy, and I'll do everything I can to give you a short answer so we can keep moving the program along. Okay, Steven, I'll go through the choices again. We're going to Kellen Moore.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously, Kellen Moore, has made his stamp on the league, but both in San Diego and in Dallas, and being in Philadelphia last year was the springboard to getting him the head coaching job that he's been coveting for a few years. The better part of 5, I guess we would say for Kellen Moore, but as Ben already said, that they're the Aints for a reason. They got trouble. They got cap trouble. They got quarterback trouble. You're overpaid for Chase Young again. I don't think he's warranted that type of contract. So Kellen Moore's got a mountain to climb. But I think if he's giving the opportunity to coach out his contract and giving the tools to be around him, I think he could be one of those guys that could help change that culture around. You just cannot meddle with it and not give him the opportunity. You have to know at least the next 2 years that they are not going to be somebody that's competing for the division title or even a playoff spot. They're not there yet. They do not have the personnel. If the front office actually sticks with him and gives him a chance to do it, I think year 3, year 4, he could have that franchise in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, well, go to Brian Schottenheimer.
I mean, Ben already said it, man. He's the yes man. There was no one looking at him. the Dallas Cowboys have been the laughing stock of this league for the better part of 10 years for a reason. Yeah, they've been, they've won division titles and things of that nature, but they do what Dallas does. I think they have more than just a coaching problem. They have a culture problem down there. Regardless if you feel that Jerry Jones is the issue, he's the one pulling the strings or whatnot. But Brian Schottenheimer, if I'm giving a letter grade, he's C or lower.
Okay. Liam Cohen.
He better be the quarterback whisperer. That's for sure. He better get things situated. They are stuck with Trevor Lawrence, and somebody needs to turn that kid around. I mean, me and Ben joke about this a lot on our show. Man, Trevor Lawrence is one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, and he has absolutely no resume to back that up. Obviously, he had a decent year under Doug Peterson, but he's fallen off a cliff and he needs help. So he better turn him around and turn that franchise around.
Aaron Glenn.
The Jets couldn't ask for a better situation after what happened with their last two head coaches and getting Aaron Glenn in there. That's a blessing. He's going to help. He's going to help Justin Fields more than I think people realize. I see the Jets surpassing the Dolphins this year. The Dolphins are in a lot of trouble, but I think that the Jets could potentially be one of those teams that could be in a playoff situation. As we're heading into December this coming season.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, how do you not like the Patriots bringing back in a Belichick guy to put that team in the right direction? You're already starting to see it with some of the signings, bringing in a Milton Williams, just bringing in a big wide receiver to kind of help out your quarterback there. So you're starting to get some of it. I think they're a few years off. You gotta hope you have the right quarterback there. But Mike Vrabel's has been a staple for the other side of the ball for a while for a reason. He wasn't. I don't think he was terrible in Tennessee. I just think that didn't have quite the personnel and the pool he needed to kind of get the pieces he needed. But I think that's a great hire for the Patriots fans, and they should have fun over the next few years.
Pete Carroll and then Ben Johnson.
Pete Carroll, remarried there with Geno Smith. I think should be interesting to see who they go with their first overall pick this year. Obviously, they have. Arguably the most highly touted tight end prospect we've seen in the NFL probably over the last 10 years, and Brock Bowers there. So, we'll see what happens with it. I think he gives them, much needed stability with changing things in the direction they want to. And I think they'll be another team that'll be giving the Kansas City Chiefs some fits over the next few years. So I like the hire. I like what he brings to the table for the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll see how it all plays out, man.
Lastly, Ben Johnson.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Another thing, me and Ben been banging on the drum about this. He's invested into Caleb Williams. He's putting everything around him to succeed. Getting him in a direction where he's not running around trying to manipulate plays and things of that nature, where he can actually get things done. We'll see how that all plays out. Obviously, they've won the off season, so to speak, over the last few years when it hasn't really shown to do much. But I think they've addressed the proper needs that they needed to help Caleb be successful. So I think they're in a great position, both with personnel and now having a coach and another one. You absolutely have to make sure you let this guy be there for more than a year and a half, 2 years. You can't just sit there and when things go wrong or don't go your way and just it's the coach's fault and we're just going to run him out and bring another guy in. You can't do that. So I like it. I think I already said I think that the Bears are going to be a playoff team. So I'm going to stick by that. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to be the outside team looking in this year. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm sorry. I know you ain't going to like that one, my friend, but that's just how I feel about it. We'll see how it all plays out when they put it all on the field.
See, Ben, I'm not the only one that like that hat. D-Lowe's does too. Got good taste in hats, my friend. Doesn't it? Look at that hat. Classic. As far as examining NFL head coaches, I need more than an hour to examine Joshua Torres' head. So, and Bo knows what I'm talking about. And Alex Ovechkin is 4 goals away from the record. That's actually a worthy hockey note. So think about it, Steve. If you don't know a lot about hockey, at least you'll be able to know a little bit about Alex Ovechkin. So there you go. There's your little hockey nugget for the night. Okay, Bo, I'll go over the coaches with you. I know that Steve and Ben have done a good job going out there and mentioning it. So go ahead. It's your turn.
Yes, I mean, Kellen Moore with the Saints. I mean, the Saints are in purgatory right now anyway. They don't have anybody on their roster, and they have the most expensive dead cap. So, I mean, it's not like they're going to do anything this year. You have to imagine that he is going to get some leeway to build this thing over the next few years. I mean, if they hung out with Dennis Allen as long as they did, I would imagine he's going to get a real shot at trying to build something. So I think he'll be able to do something. When you look at his tenure with the Chargers, he had to overcome Staley, right? And that offense was still putting up, 400 yards a game, putting up, close to 30 points. And that's with Staley being a problem. And then, you go to the Eagles, he's able to tailor his offense to match what they do well. So it shows that he has the ability to utilize the guys that he has. So I think as long as they give him enough time to actually put this program together, I think he'll be a good fit there. Schottenheimer, on the other hand, is exactly what you'd expect out of Dallas, is somebody that's going to be like, yeah, cool, whatever you want to do, Jerry. And so I don't expect good things, especially when you are going into a season where your quarterback is making up a third of the cap. So a QB with a dead cap rating of 90 million, which for perspective is Josh Allen and Lamar together, just doesn't say success to me. So, that being said, I'm glad it's the Cowboys. If we go to Cohen with the Jags, Duval, hopefully his tenure there is better than his opening press conference, because that was pretty rough. But I mean, I think he could be good. The biggest question is, can Lawrence ever turn the corner and be the guy, right? And one of the things he has to figure out how to do is have unassisted fumbles stop happening, right? I mean, interceptions, they happen. But when you're running and nobody hits you and you just lose the football, and that's not an isolated incident, like he's done it numerous times in his career, that's a real problem. So if they can figure out how to get Lawrence to be worth that $55 million, then I think this team has a real shot. If that 1 year that Lawrence looked like he should is the 1 year, well, they're in some trouble. Aaron Glenn with the Jets. I mean, I hope he has success. Great guy. It's another defensive guy. And the one thing that they do well is defense, right? They have a pretty decent roster for that. You feel a little bit bad for him when their GM came out today and said that they're not going to be extending Sauce or Garrett Wilson before the draft. So they might just be picking up that 5th-year option and then, creating some drama in the locker room for no reason. Those are both Pro Bowlers that you need on your roster. So the fact that they're not going to do anything prior to the draft is a little bit interesting. But, that's what you sign up for when you're the Jets head coach. Vrabel to the Pats. Honestly, I don't know why the Titans got rid of him. I mean, if anybody should have got fired off of that staff, it was their GM. Vrabel had the land of misfit toys playing as hard as they could possibly play. So his ability to coach was never in question. Why they let him go and kept their GM is beyond me. he had a broken Henry and a Tannehill with a dead arm, and he was still winning games they shouldn't have won. So the fact that he's going back to the Patriots, I think that's great for him. And, if nothing else, he's going to have a good defense, and maybe they have their quarterback. We'll have to see once they get some weapons around him. But Vrabel being a head coach makes all the sense in the world. I don't know how he wasn't a coach last year. Pete Carroll to the Raiders. I actually like this. The Raiders, personnel-wise, are set up exactly how Pete Carroll likes to play. They have some good tight ends. They have a great defense. They are likely going to grab a running back in this draft. He gets Geno back, who plays smart football and within the confines of what he's designed to do, right? Like, he doesn't go out and play hero ball. He plays smart football, which is exactly what Pete Carroll likes. So I actually like this fit. And one of the things that the Raiders have missed for a long time is culture. And if there is no bigger culture guy than Pete Carroll. So if there was a guy that's going to turn that around, it's Pete. So I actually like that setup. And then Ben Johnson with the Bears. I don't know how you don't have success with this roster, especially with this offseason. The first thing they do is address the biggest glaring hole that team had, which was interior offensive line. They kicked them all out and brought new guys in that are dudes, right? Like, they didn't go get somebody that was on someone's practice squad. Like, they went and got guys. And so I don't know how you don't have success with this Bears team. I would imagine they're probably going to be a wild card team this year. So, I'm with Steve, where I think maybe Green Bay is the one that's outside looking in and Bears take their spot. So, some of that would just be for the interest of watching the world burn. And it's funny when Green Bay misses, but, I think the Bears have something So, yeah, no, I think the Bears have something here. And, obviously Ben Johnson was a highly coveted coach over the last 2 off seasons. So, him going somewhere that has a roster that you can win with, they'll be interesting to watch.
Okay, well, last but not least, Candy, I love the look on Ben's face when he looks and absorbs all this stuff. Ben has got one of the most serious looking, focused minds I have ever seen. Great stuff, Ben. And look at the popularity we have out there watching us. Great stuff here on Inside the Picks. And Candy, if I need to repeat the coaches, do you know them by now?
Let's see. Well, let's start with Kellen Moore. What I'm going to say in general, first of all, before I get into any one specific coach, the days of letting them only have 1 year or 2 year is not enough, because in year one, did you control the guys that you have? Did you have input in those guys coming? Did you have input in the free agency? Yes, you might have input in the draft at this point, but to turn a culture around in 1 year, you have to be very spectacular. And to get everybody to buy in that might be used to an old culture or anything like that takes time and takes cohesiveness. We've seen players move from one team to another team, and sometimes it works out, but more than likely it doesn't work out necessarily the first year. And so I think we have to give all of them patience. Yes, some of them already have had success as head coaches in the NFL, and that makes a difference. And I would say deems a level of respect as well. Now, as far as the individual, Kellen Moore, going to, like everybody has said, a Saints team that, who do they have? Like, who's their best player? Can you name their best play? Like, they're not household names. They're not, at least I can't name a lot of them. So I think he's got a lot of work cut out for him. Is he a good coach? Yes. Will he be good as a head coach? That remains to be seen, because sometimes coaches are really good at offensive or defensive coaches, but when they get to the head coach part, they're not as good. So it'll be interesting to see how that it plays out. I think give him time, and I think he'll be okay. Next one, Scott. Who was the next one?
Brian Schottenheimer.
Oh, Dallas, really? I mean, that's a mess. You're telling me Mike McCarthy, who won won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers, and he could only do how well with Dallas. You really think bringing in Puppet again, like everybody has said, because let's face it, Jerry Jones has his nose in everything there. I don't think they'll have success, but like we also said, Zach's taking up how much of the payroll too, so that makes a difference too, and other players know that and see that. Next one.
Liam Cohen.
So here's Trevor Lawrence is not an elite quarterback, and we all know that. But he also has had such coaching changes and hasn't had the right fits behind him, the right surrounding cast either. So his first year out, we all know who coached him that year. That didn't go well at all. And I think there were a lot of distractions. And I think he just hasn't been able to put a lot of that away. Could he be a better quarterback? Yes, I think he could be a better quarterback. Do I think they're going to have success this year? I don't think they have enough weapons around him, though, either. He's kind of alone on this journey here. So I think some of these teams, they need to realize that they need to protect him. He needs a little more protection. He needs some good weapons. You know, if he's throwing to what on some of these teams would be a 4th or 5th receiver, not your 1-2 receivers on some of these teams, that makes a difference. But I wish him well. Next was who?
Go from Cohen, Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn. So he went to the Jets, right?
That is correct.
So interestingly enough, they came out with the NFLPA's report cards. And I don't know if any of you guys read or heard of any of these, but players are asked to rank their current club based on factors that include locker room quality, treatment of families, ownership quality to generate public report cards. And the Jets franchise was ranked 29th overall. And Johnson was ranked the worst owner. He was ranked 32nd in perceived willingness to invest in the team's facilities, 32nd in contributing to a positive team culture, and 31st in commitment to building a competitive team. Only Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper ranked below Johnson in that category. Now, do I think Aaron Glenn, he was one of the most sought out. Everybody wanted him. He is a very defensive-minded coach. I don't know how much success he'll have as the Jets because I don't know if the Jets know what they're doing and where they're headed. They let go a couple of good coaches. Let's face it, they brought in Aaron Rodgers, who they thought was going to be the be-all and end-all. And I know he got injured first, but like last year he didn't pan out. I just don't know if they know that their direction is. So I think if you give him a little bit of time, they might be okay. I don't know that they're going to be really great. And you're talking about, everybody's talked about the Jets have been a very defensive heavy team and good on the defensive side. And then you bring in another defensive coach. So is that really going to help your offense that has been sputtering? I don't know. I wish him well, but I don't know that he'll have a ton of success at the Jets.
All right, Katie, 3 more to get to. I'll make mine short. I knew this topic going on was going to be a little bit longer. I assure you the rest of the topics will be a lot shorter. But when you're talking about this many coaching hires, and I have the experts I have, I wanted to get this one out because the reason why I'm doing it is because we have the NFL draft, and these are the coaches that are going to be involved with the new talent. That's why it was appropriate to use it tonight. So, Mike Vrabel, Candy.
I think he'll have success. I think he's had success. I think he'll have success. And I'll keep it at that.
And Pete Carroll, like I said, if anybody knew more about him than Bo, tell me, because he's in the greater Seattle area. Anyways, go ahead, Candy.
I think Pete will have success too. Again, I don't think he'll be able to turn it around in a year or two. I think you got to give him like 3 to really make his mark and make his impression.
And finally, for you, Candy, Ben Johnson.
So here's the one that I Hope has the least amount of success, as you all might wonder why. But I think he walks into the best situation out of all of the other head coaches, though. So I think he will have a good impact. I think it's probably what Caleb needed. And unfortunately, I think he'll have the most success out of all of them at the expense of, yes, my division just got that much harder. But it is what it is, right? You got to beat everybody to win it anyways. So you might as well bring on the NFC North division and make it tougher. So
All right, I'll make my comments short and sweet. Not that anybody expects me to be short and sweet, but I will because we have a lot of ground to cover. Kellen Moore, I'm going to piggyback off of Kenny of the 49ers, is a great football mind. Candy put that one back up. Kenny is right on target. He is a great football mind. And it wasn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and he did get his opportunity. Ryan Schottenheimer, one word, he's a puppet. Liam Cohen, he's going to have to be a miracle worker in Jacksonville because he has a lot of work to do with a guy who's being paid a lot of money. Aaron Glenn of the Jets, you know what, Aaron? Life was good in Detroit. It really was, but you're not going to have the talent you had in Detroit. So you better hope Woody Johnson paid you well. Mike Vrabel, obvious choice for the Patriots. After all, when you had Jared Mayo last year, who was actually the guy they had to bring on because there was a clause written in his contract that he had to be the successor. Robert Kraft figured, well, I did. 1 year he wasn't any good. Boom, you're out of here. Pete Carroll liked the move. Those are the Raiders with a really losing culture, so I think anything you do with Pete Carroll would be good. Ben Johnson of the Bears, yes, he's going to have a lot of talent, but you didn't have the talent that you had in Detroit. So we'll see what he does there. Again, if you want to keep Caleb Williams from being a bust, Ben Johnson's the guy. It will be interesting to see how this whole situation play out. All right, done with this topic. I knew it was going to take a while. We're going to move on to some much quicker topics. I'm going to start off with Ben Troop. This is one that I've really been intrigued about, Ben. I know you're big on college football. Is that correct?
I am.
Okay, good. This has definitely got your name written all over it. UNLV is in $26 million worth of debt right now. Yet they can only afford to pay Dan Mullen for 2 years while you leave a cushy ESPN job, and you can only get paid 2 years and $26 million. They even hired Josh Pastner, who got a really good hometown discount just to go to UNLV. What are your thoughts about the UNLV coaching situation, knowing that you're supposed to get $26 million, but you're only going to be guaranteed to get at least 7? Some thoughts.
I think that Dan Mullen has more leverage than more coaches because sometimes he's still getting paid from the University of Florida. He might still be getting paid from Mississippi State. I'm not counting this man's pockets, but if you go into a school to know they can't pay you, I think you understand something more. He understands economics. You see what a guy like Deion Sanders was able to do for a team like Colorado. I'm not saying that he's going to do that at UNLV, but he has some connections. He's been around a long time. He understands how to win. And Dan Mullen has won every way he's gone. I think he understands that, look, if I can come in here in 2 years to show you guys what I can bring to UNLV, I think the money will come because sometimes, and let's face it, Dan Mullen want to get as far away from the Southeast as he possibly can. He don't want nothing to do with the SEC or the ACC or the Big Ten at this point. I think he's going to end up back there eventually, but I think he's using his leverage. And like I said, I'm not counting nobody's pockets, but Dan Mullen is a lot of things. Broke ain't one of them. He's still getting paid by possibly 2 teams. I think he understands that he can build maybe a small juggernaut in UNLV because with it being, that many teams able to get in, I think he said, look, I see a way to get UNLV as, maybe the college football playoff team.
Great perspective. That's why it's turned to you. Steve, what do you think?
Well, as Ben's already saying, you don't want to count anyone's pockets, but like when you sign up to do something like that, you know what you're getting yourself into. It's not a money thing. It's I think he believes in that program and what they could do. It's one of these things where we're at this point where you have the transfer portal, you have all this stuff going on. He can put himself together a team within that 2-year frame and be successful, be competitive, and get some bowl his guys some bowl appearances and things of that nature. So I like it. We'll see how it all plays out, but I think overall, it should be a good experience for him.
Okay, Bo.
Yeah, I'm with both these guys. Like, I think he went into this knowing what it was, right? So the money aspect of it it probably isn't as big of a deal. At the same time, there's probably opportunity if he can, get this thing off the ground and get them bowl appearances potentially into the playoff. All of a sudden that money starts showing up. So, this is one of those I'm betting on myself kind of situations.
Candy.
He was a coach. He went into broadcasting, decided he wanted to go back and get back into coaching because that's where he loves. It's not necessarily a money. Let's face it. If you love what you do, you're not working. You're enjoying what you're doing. And that's what he obviously wanted to do. Wanted to get back into coaching. He's had success at it. Why not? Go do it. Nothing is guaranteed in life. And even his broadcasting career, we don't know what kind of contracts he had. He could have had a 1 year, 1 year contract. I don't think you necessarily have to have a long contract in coaching. And let's face it, with NIL and the transfer portal, so many things have changed. And there's more money out there now with NIL that who knows, maybe he gets some of that. You just never know what he's going to, what all he gets. So I think he knew what he was getting into, and this is what he loved to do. So that's why he went back.
I'll make this short and sweet too. My advice for UNLV, they play in a great stadium, Allegiant Stadium, right? Home of the Raiders. He'll put bodies in the seats, he'll win. But I think UNLV needs to leave the Mountain West and go to the Pac-12. Pac-12 has way more potential in history than the Mountain West. I'll leave it at that. Next topic. Bill Belichick was a no-show for North Carolina's Pro Day recently. Is it a big deal, Ben?
It's not a big deal. I think, obviously he understands he's a big fish in a small pond. Bill Belichick understands what he means to UNC. Yes, it's going to be a big deal because of who it is, not necessarily his absence, but hopefully it'll be a much to do about nothing. Maybe he didn't go because he didn't want to make it about him. He knows if he shows up, it's going to be the Bill Belichick show, and UNC has a pro day. No one knows about what goes on in the minds of Bill Belichick but Bill Belichick, maybe his girlfriend, maybe his son, but I just think maybe he didn't want to upstage those players. If Bill Belichick is winning come the fall, won't nobody worry about him showing up to the pro days. I feel bad for that North Carolina media. They got to interview him day in and day out. They're the one who's going to be earning their money come the fall.
That's why I like that. What do you think, Steven?
I'm with Ben here. It's absolutely irrelevant. I mean, he just took the job. Is any of those guys his kids? No. Did he scout them and put them on his team? No. So why did anyone think he was going to show up to the pro day? I mean, I think anyone who thinks that there's any weight to this is fooling themselves. Bill does what Bill does. He beats to the sound of his own drum. He makes his own drum. It's at this point in time, if we're talking about this a year from now, then yes, we can have the discussion. I don't think this is his team yet, so he kind of felt like, hey, let me step back, let me make sure that it's about these kids, not the media circus that's going to surround him because he is Bill Belichick. But go ahead, guys.
Okay, all right, Bo.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I mean, it wasn't his kids. He's not going to add any insight. It's not like he was in practices with these guys. He's watching the same film that everybody else watched because he wasn't in the building. Besides, it's spring break. I'm sure his girlfriend wanted to go to Cancun or something.
Good. Yeah, Jordan, what's her name? I don't know. Is Cabo the big deal these days?
Well, it's the other coast, so it's a shorter flight to Cancun from there.
Well, I've been to Cancun. It's a great people. I used to bargain with the Mexicans, and I'll tell you, I had a field day between them and the bullfighting. It was unbelievable. I used to mispronounce the word senior so bad. I used to say, "Hey, senior, I need to get some information. Anyone want to make a deal here, senior?" And I had them all flocking with me like a bunch of darn geese. And it was fun to negotiate with the Mexicans. Senior. And that's what I did. And many years ago with my sister-in-law in Acapulco, I used that. She was laughing her tail off. I kept using it for a while. And once people figured out how much it was unbelievable. Had to get that Mexican story in. Thanks to Mr. Bo. All right, what do you think, Candy? Is it a big deal?
So no. I mean, I was at Miami Hurricanes Pro Day. Yes, Mario Cristobal was there. He did an interview with I don't remember if it was NFL Network or ESPN, way before, like a half an hour to an hour before they even started the pro day. Did I see him the rest of the pro day? No, because it's not about him. It's about them showcasing their talents, doing what the scouts and what they want, whether it be throwing, whether it be whatever drills. He's not the one that's doing the high jump. He's not the one that's, so no. Is it a big deal that Bill was there or not? I don't think so.
I'll close it on this note. They were Mac Brown's players, not Bill Belichick. End of story. All right. With that said, we're going to go to a station break. More to come. I just want to give a quick update today. News. Calais Campbell, defensive lineman, agreed to terms with the Arizona Cardinals. He'll be back there. Nobody needs to comment. Just a news item. Every now and then we put him out there. Calais Campbell is back in the desert with the Cardinals. All right, Candy, station break.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the industry and how it has evolved. You can get your copy today. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there's a link to our merchandise store, as well as a plethora of great content and a couple good pictures, if I do say so myself. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Monday nights, we talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights, you never know what we're going to be talking about, except we do talk hockey on Thursday nights. If you see the red subscribe button, hit it, like us, share us with all your friends and family. We're always striving for more. If you want to be a guest on the show or have show ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. And if you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott, 954-304-4941.
Hey, Ben, play your cards right. You'll be in the next book. Fair enough, my friend.
Hey, listen, I want your book to sell, but if you want to put me in there, man, hey, may God bless you, sir.
I'm gonna get you one. Don't worry about it, pal. I told you that this would be a win-win situation. You're gonna find out in due time. I'm a man of my word. I don't know what they're gonna put on my mausoleum thing, and they'll probably don't have a whole lot up there, but man of my word will be up there if there's any way she could get it up there. Anything else you want to call me, I'll be wearing it inside that. You know what? So leave it at that. Continue on the college theme a little bit more. Deion Sanders signs a 5-year extension, $54 million to remain in Colorado. As Ben mentioned earlier, you didn't have the money earlier, but Deion paid some big dividends with the Colorado Buffaloes. I never thought he was going to leave in the first place, but you know what? That's just my opinion. I'm going over to Ben.
Listen, back in the day when Deion Sanders was in the National Football League, he had this song called Must Be the Money, and he was speaking to the future. Deion Sanders is good for one thing. He is good for business. When you look at Colorado, they're selling out. When you look at the merchandise, it's up. When you look at viewership, it's up. How many coaches that coached the Heisman? Deion Sanders has. So it's Deion. If Deion, the only person I know marketing better than Deion Sanders might be Jerry Jones. This guy understands money is going to get you there. So I'm happy for him, and I think they got him at a bargain. 5 years, well, $54 million. I still think they got him at a bargain. If he can get $54 million in 2 years, what's going to happen when he make the college football playoff? He's already at the renegotiation table as we speak. Congratulations, Deion. Now the whole world wants to know: can you win without a Sanders being at the quarterback position?
Besides, he's getting used to that cowboy hat out in Denver and the metropolitan Denver area that consists of Boulder. Yeah, Shedeur Sanders going to be I think he'll be a pretty good pro, but I'll be curious to see how Deion does with a different quarterback under center for sure. Great point, Ben. Turn it over to Steven.
Well, now we can put to bed of the rumors that Deion is going to be going to Dallas next season. So I'm glad that's out of the way. Don't want anyone to change the culture down there in Dallas. Like them to stay right where they're at. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Deion has already proved his worth. I mean, if people remember correctly, he was still in the thunder from Mel Kiper on the NFL Network for a good 3-4 years before he decided he wanted to get into coaching. So Deion has been a star wherever he's been. Good for ratings, good for money, as Ben was already talking about. it's going to be fun to see if he can do the big thing, if he can bring in a national championship to Colorado. Is kind of the ultimate goal that I think everyone wants to see, especially now that we're saying, hey, he's going to be here for the next 5 years. So let's see if Deion can win himself a national championship.
Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, I find it funny that people are like, oh, they overpaid for him. He literally took a 1-win team to a bowl game in year 2. Like, I don't know how much more you want for him. Like, I mean, it's not like he was going to go, oh, you know what? We're a 1-win team. We're going to kick every player out of the room. We're going to change all the coaching. We're going to go win a national title this year. I mean, I don't know what you guys are smoking to think that you're just going to randomly turn around and win every game the next year. Like, that's not how football works. So you do have to actually bring talent in over time, right? So I think this was a good pickup for him. I mean, does he win a national title? It's the Buffaloes, so I don't know that they actually get there. But can they be a highly competitive team? Yeah, I think they can do that. A national title, do I think it'd be cool? It'd definitely be the exclamation point on his time there, but I don't know that he necessarily even makes it quite that far.
I don't think he's worried about it at the moment. He's just focusing on building a quality program. And he's off to a really good start.
Yep.
In fact, I'll even take it a little step further before I turn over to Candy. I think the one thing, and I'll ask everybody's input while we have a moment, he's actually trying to schedule a spring game against a Syracuse Orangemen. What do you think of the idea, Bo, if he ever pulls that off, scheduling a spring game with Syracuse?
It would be interesting. I really think that you're going to start seeing the spring games go away anyway because of the way the transfer portal is. Right. The fact that you have 3 different openings of the transfer portal. The guys that are on your roster for the spring game may not be on your team by the time the year comes around. So there's actually a lot of schools that are getting rid of the spring game. So I don't know if it ever comes together just because that might be something that's just going away in general.
What do you think, Ben, about that?
I like the concept. I think Deion Sanders is ahead of the curve because he understands that, look, man, we want to keep eyes on us. I mean, we only watching some of these spring games because we got, all these colleges got networks, but the spring games are scrimmages and all you're doing is counting healthy bodies. They do it to the National Football League. I mean, when I was in there, yeah, you bring another team to scrimmage against because you get to get live action, and it's about entertainment until you get to the regular season. Deion Sanders is like, look, I'm playing chess. And you see the Syracuse coach already told him, listen, we'll come out to Boulder. And Deion says, look, if I have nothing else, I have influence. And I'm going to use it while I have it. And I do agree. I mean, spring games for people, listen, if you've ever played college football, the most overrated thing about college is the spring game. The greatest thing about the spring game is the last day when it's over. Because as players, it's just way too many practices. Spring is when a player has to realize you don't love football as much as you think. You do not love it that much. So I do agree. I'm trying to you get sick of hitting your own teammates. How excited can I be going up against the same guys every day? And I got to go to class, then go to workout. Hey, I get it, but you get so much access to these teams now through their media departments. You feel like you know the players' their favorite color by the time the spring, because it's all about profiling these players. But I do agree, your team, you don't even put up a depth chart until after the spring game. Some of these guys are hitting the portal. They ain't even taking a shower after the spring game. They're going straight to the portal, headed to the other team.
That's right. Got some good perspectives, Ben. I swear. I don't laugh that much. But when you come up with some stuff, it's pretty good. All right, what do you think of that? That's pretty tough. And I'll turn over to Candy with the Deion, but it just dawned on me what you guys are saying, so I wanted to write it. Go ahead, Steven.
Oh, you said you were going to Candy? What?
Well, no. What do you think of the spring game?
Listen, dude. When they're doing it this way, it's just the joint practices in the college version. That's all it really is. Do they do away with it? I think it really depends on the programs themselves. Like regardless of how it plays out, like it really boils down to what they want to get out of it. Are they worried about injuries, things of that nature? I think it's a matter of time before it goes away. In some ways, but I hope for the overall competitiveness that you get, that the things that not only the colleges but the kids get out of it is the only reason it's kind of staying around now. So
All right, Katie, what are your thoughts about Sanders getting that extension? If you want to chime in on the spring game that he's proposing.
I'm going to kind of wrap it all. Nebraska recently announced it is replacing its spring game with skills competitions and 7-on-7 games at Memorial Stadium on April 26th. This comes on the heels of Cornhuskers coach Matt Rule expressing concerns about other teams scouting players in the scrimmage and possibly poaching them through the transfer portal. While the spring game remains a big draw, some schools in recent years have started to move away from traditional scrimmages because of smaller rosters and the risk of player injuries. Nebraska, Texas, Ohio State, and Southern California are among programs ending the tradition this spring. Colorado will hold its spring game this season on April 19th at Folsom Field. It will be broadcast on ESPN2. We've got to sell this thing out and pack this thing because the way the trend is going, you never know if this is going to be the last spring game, Sanders said. I don't believe in that. I don't really want to condone that. I would like to play the spring game. Actually, I like to play against another team in the spring, is what Sanders said. So kudos to him because, yes, he has brought recognition to the Colorado football team that was not there before. One win doesn't cut it before he got there. He's brought an awareness to the game. He brings swagger to it. Does his kids show the same swagger? Yes. But you have to have confidence to play some of the positions that you play. You need to have that if you're going to go on in the NFL. Yes, there's a difference between cockiness and confidence. I get that. But you need confidence to play and to win. So it'll be interesting to see now that his sons won't be there, how he does in the transfer portal and who comes to him, because most of the guys that he brought from one school to Colorado now would be done. So he's really recruiting a lot of new ones, new players, but he brings a lot to the table. So it'll be interesting how he does going forward.
All right, I'll make this very short. I want to get Bo in on this one topic. I know he has a hard out at 9:15. Deion Sanders' contract extension means one thing to me. He's going to get a statue in Boulder. One of these days he will. He's the most high-profile individual that they've ever hired. He keeps doing things the way he does. If he wins a national championship, great. If he keeps in the college football play consistently, that's even better. But the main thing is he's making them a lot of money, and he brings an NFL mentality. You talk about guys that are going from Sunday to Saturday, Bill Belichick, Jim Mora, and I have to say, even myself, because you know what? I used to cover a lot of pro games on Sunday, and I got the Miami Hurricanes. So there you have it. Deion Sanders will get a statue, gets to the college football playoff consistently. Maybe at one point he breaks through with the national championship, but I like Bo. He's not going to Dallas. Ben, anything else you want to add to summarize that topic real quickly?
No, I mean, I just think that at the end of the day, when you think about a guy like Deion Sanders, I mean, you're not going to have more people more polarizing than a guy like that. That's why he didn't go to Dallas, because he's the one guy that can tell Jerry Jones no. That's why he didn't go. He respects Jerry, but I think Deion Sanders is the one guy who is bigger than Jerry because he's done it as a player, he's done it as a coach. So I'm just happy that Deion Sanders is in college football, because I want somebody to be able to go against the grain. I don't want to hear these coach speak type thing. Deion Sanders I ain't never seen a coach with that much access, that much impact. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy that I get to be involved with the Deion Sanders era.
I'll say one thing: Florida State made a big mistake not hiring. Colorado's better because of it. All right, Bo. One topic I want to get you involved. We'll lead off with you, and then I know you have to roll. Anthony Richardson will train with Josh Allen this offseason to sharpen his mechanics. Is that a good idea?
I mean, yeah, he was severely overdrafted, right? I mean, he had an amazing pro day, which got him 4th overall. But if you actually watched his film, they were a 6-6 team. He had 1 year of starting. It wasn't particularly great. He has a huge athletic upside. So I get the interest in him, but picking him 4 didn't make sense. Now that they bring Daniel Jones in, and with the offensive line that the Colts have, actually kind of favors Daniel Jones' style of play. Richardson better do something to increase his ability to throw the ball from the pocket, because otherwise he's going to lose that starting role to a guy that couldn't keep the starting role in another city. So him going and working with Josh Allen makes a ton of sense to me.
All right. And before you leave, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you, Bo.
Yeah, so you can find me here on Tuesday nights on Inside the Pigskin. You can find me on my channel at Football Talk, and of course Roku TV 5 days a week.
Great stuff, Bo. Glad to have you on, and now you made a new friend in Mr. Banton. True.
Yep. Good to meet you, Ben.
Yes, sir.
Right. See you next week, Bo. Thank you very much. You bet. All right, so now we'll continue on. Ben, you're next. Anthony Richardson, working with Josh Allen. Good idea.
Great idea, but Anthony Richardson, Josh Allen can't play for him. Josh Allen, they both built similar. 6'4", 6'5", 250-pound quarterbacks. One guy's coming off a regular season MVP. The other guy's coming off not even being able to beat out Joe Flacco. I love Anthony Richardson. I have to. He went to the University of Florida. But Anthony Richardson, to understand, 6'4", 245 pounds in the NFL is regular. That's an outside linebacker, right? And I think the thing about Anthony Richardson, one thing, if you are tired, don't tell the media. Don't tell the media that I left the game because I was tired. People say, well, what should you have done, Ben? Lie. I left because I felt something in my ankle, not because I'm tired. You're 21, 22 years old. Drink more milk or Gatorade or water, something. Don't do that. But I think the thing about Anthony Richardson is this. Josh Allen can tell him, dude, you use your athleticism when you need to. Before you do that, play quarterback. They need you to play quarterback. They don't need you to be Superman. They need you to play quarterback. When you need to be super, be super. If not, go through your reads, hand the ball off to one of the best running backs, in the National Football League. And if you cannot beat out Daniel Jones, I think you might want to start, looking in the mirror. Love Anthony Richardson, but you can't win with athleticism. As much as Lamar Jackson gets credit for his athleticism, he's a hell of a quarterback. Look at the way he plays the position. Anthony Richardson needs to know how to play the position because right now it's pure raw talent. Pure raw talent is good when you playing in high school, when you're the best athlete out there. That's going to get you knocked the hell out in the NFL. You're not going to out-athlete those guys. So hopefully Josh Allen will help him understand it. He'll say, listen, do you want to be a good quarterback with longevity as a starter, or do you want to be Jameis Winston as a career backup? You have the option to do both, and neither one is bad, but I think he wants a franchise. So he need to listen to a guy that's one of the best players, if not the best player at his position right now.
Great analogy of bringing up Jameis Winston. Can you top that one, Steven? I'm sure you probably can.
I'll try to. It's hard to top Ben on a regular basis, man.
Yeah,
so
I'm starting to find that out.
Listen, and this is something me and him been beating on, for the better part of a few months now. He's got some problems going on there in Indianapolis, regardless if it's in between his head, whatever. I don't know if Josh Allen is the guy that you need to go to. And maybe he should have reached out to a guy like Jalen Hurts, who has like a similar style to him. Josh Allen is a different build and everything. He needs more than just the physical attributes to be helped with. He needs that mentality too. And I think that's something where someone like a Jalen Hurts would probably help them out a little bit better than what Josh Allen could do. Not to take anything away from Josh, he is an elite quarterback in this league. You can argue if he's top 5 or not. We can have that discussion at another time. But when you look at these offseason programs and see who the guys are working with, hell, I just seen Cooper DeJean was working with Patrick Surtain II. So we know this stuff happens during the offseason, but if Josh can help him in some of those areas, that's great. But I don't think he beats out Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones was brought in to phase him out, and we might be seeing a draft day trade with Anthony Richardson being on another team come the end of April. We'll have to see how all that plays out, but I hope it helps him one way or another.
What do you think, Candy?
How can it hurt him when he's thrown 11 touchdowns and 13 interceptions? He's thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns. There's only an upside to it. Josh Allen can only help him. Do I think he's the right one to help him, though? No, I'm not so sure. And I know you guys are going to laugh when I say this. And I'm not sure that this person would mentor him, but you have to have the smarts, the football smarts, to know when to throw things, when not to throw things, when to use your athleticism. So what quarterback does that the best? And that's who you need to be working with, because that's what he really needs. And I think there's a lot to be said about the quarterbacks that go out and hang out with their receivers, their offensive line, that really gel with them during the off season, not necessarily practicing, but just gelling with them, getting to know them really well. And there is something about a team that really sticks together and that molds together. So whatever Anthony Richardson can do to help himself, I'm glad he's at least seeking that and at least trying and going to with Josh Allen. Josh is not a bad quarterback to do that with. I'm just not sure that's the right one for him.
Well, then who is? You keep saying who it isn't, but you can't. One thing about me you can't do is you can't put nothing past me about leaving me hanging. I'll grill you even later on tonight when nobody's even on. So get it out there.
Well, who's one of the smartest quarterbacks?
Well, I'm asking you the question. You're not asking me. Really?
Seriously, I already put it out there. He should be working with Jalen Hurts. He needs mental help.
Hello?
Jalen Hurts and him have similar games. I mean, obviously he doesn't have the resume that Jalen Hurts has. But I mean, if I'm reaching out to someone that's not Josh Allen, it's not taking anything away from Josh. I want someone who's going to help me on those other ends, who has a similar game to me, where I could pick his brain. Looking at everything we've seen from Jalen from high school to college to what we've seen in the past 5 years, why aren't more quarterbacks banging on his door like, yo, how do you do this?
Correct.
Well, so there you go, Candy. Steven, put it out there for you. All right, all I'll say about the topic, he's got everything to gain, nothing to lose. Go with Josh Allen. Remember, Josh Allen was overlooked a little bit and dropped to the Buffalo Bills. And how did it work out? Pretty good. The Bills couldn't get a quarterback to go up to that neck of the woods, and they ended up drafting their own, who played in weather colder than where they are in Wyoming. So he's got everything to gain, nothing to lose. But there's no doubt that I don't know whether Jalen Hurts would mentor him. But nowadays, with the camaraderie with a lot of players these days, they try to help each other out. You never know if they'll be teammates. Let's go to the comments real quick. Let's Talk Sports Network is out there. Yeah, he wouldn't want to add to the value of the pro day for those kids. That's a good comment out there. Thank you very much for putting it out there. And most of college football traditions are leaving. Oh, there's no question about that. So I'll just end it by saying you've got everything to gain, nothing to lose, as far as I'm concerned, by training with Allen, and I'll leave it at that. Last topic of the night, and that's no team has won 15 games. No team that has won 15 games has won a Super Bowl since 1985. Do you see that in the future, Mr. True?
Oof, no team has won 15 games and won a Super Bowl. Do I see it in the future? Yes, I do see it in the future, because I think the National Football League is evolving. And I think the thing about it is, everybody be so focused on, how many games. Listen, you win enough games to get into the playoffs. Once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. Yes, you want to have a home field advantage and all these type of things throughout. I don't like to keep giving this man love, but the one person who has changed the way you look at the quarterback position in football is Jalen Hurts. He's nobody's media darling, right? Now the ladies love him. If your lady's saying, I want to go see the Eagles play, no, she want to see Jalen. Do not take her to the game. She don't even know who the Eagles players are. So I'm just saying, I think 15 wins, because the reason why I say it is this. No one thought that Kansas City could lose, right? Now they lose, it's kind of opened up. Just win your division, get a home playoff game. Because you know what people ain't talking about? The Texans could have beat Kansas City. They could have beat them in last year. They didn't do it, right? But sometimes, remember when Marshawn Lynch had that beast quake run against the Saints? Right. That I can't remember, it was the Saints of Seattle. One of them had an awful record and made the playoffs. It's not about how many games it takes to win to get in the playoffs. It's to get in there. People are, we only won, 10 games to get in. Did you get in? Yeah. Did you win your division? Yeah. All right, now go play. So I do see that. I do see that happening, because I think the NFL about to go to 18 regular season games. So even winning 15, when it went from 16 to 17 to 17 to 18, 15 wins, man. In football, if you ain't got but 17, 18 games, that's like winning 30 games. So yes, 15 wins, I'm with it. I hope it does. And I hope it's my Falcons. It's not gonna happen. But I just hope the guy, listen, Scott, Miss Candy, y'all gonna get to know me. Listen, in my will, when I write it, I'm gonna put that the Atlanta Falcons be my pallbearers so they can let me down one last time. I got to write it in there though. I ain't wrote it in there yet.
I'm going to have to come up with more Atlanta Falcons to get your goat a little bit. So I'm going to do that after tonight.
No. You don't. You listen. I'm on a podcast with this incredible gentleman to my right. No, there are people that think I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I am not. Listen, I say I root for the birds. They just dirty. I do not root for the birds up north. I root for the birds down south. That fly away they fly away in the winter, the summer, the fall. We aren't allowed to win Super Bowls in Atlanta. We only allowed to win World Cups and World Series. That's it. We ain't allowed to win NBA championships. We was up 28-3. I'm just saying, like, what else do you? Come on. I'm just
here. Let me tell you. Wait, hold on. You know, I got to tell Mr. Troop something. Remember Super Bowl 33 when John Elway was there?
Yeah.
Remember? I covered that game. That was my first Super Bowl, by the way.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, and you know what happened? I was starting safety. He got busted in a prostitution ring the night before. Look, we don't got to do this, Scott. We don't got to do this. Look, Atlanta has been to 2 Super Bowls. They have been to 2, but that doesn't mean anything when you get waxed the first time you go, and the second time you go, you had the GOAT on the ropes, and you lost the Dan Quinn. If I ever catch you out in the street, anyway. Now he's the head coach at Washington Commanders. Dan Quinn, if I ever catch you in the street, I'm gonna make sure I put some baby powder on my hand, and I'm just saying.
Tell me how you really feel. Well, I'll tell you.
No, I'm just saying. At the end of the day, come on.
Well, wait a minute.
Come on.
Hold it. If you're gonna lose to 2 quarterbacks, at least lose to John Elway and Tom Brady. It isn't the worst thing in the world. Obviously, the league shrunk, but. Listen, if you're going to lose to Tom Brady and John Elway, it could be worse. I'm just saying. I'm trying to add light to your situation. That was a fun.
There isn't any.
He already knows it's next.
There ain't none.
He already knows it's next. We're gonna steal Kyle Pitts from him. He's gonna be even more upset.
I'm about to say this. If that happens, Kyle Pitts is from Philadelphia. If it's breaking news, 2 things I said I'm not gonna watch football no more. If he didn't do it, but if Myles Garrett would have went to the Eagles, I'm not watching football anymore because that's cheating, right? I'm not watching it. If Kyle Pitts goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm covering hockey. I'm covering lacrosse. I'm not doing football no more. That's it.
Well, then you know what? You just volunteered for an opportunity to come on the Sports Exchange on Thursday. I have a hockey show that I'm waiting to put you on. You want to come on and you want to talk hockey?
Listen, if I came on to talk hockey, all I would do would, Scott, with you and Miss Candy say yes, because I wouldn't know how. Outside of that, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you if it was the Blackhawks or the Devils or the Penguins or the Mighty Ducks. I know nothing about hockey.
You gotta start paying.
Name quite a few of them.
But I'm going to tell you something. If I gave you the topics, you're an intelligent person. You can research them. I guarantee you'll be when I get done with you. You'll be the next PK Subban of my broadcast.
Listen, if you catch me in a hockey game, I am officially tucking my t-shirts in my pants. I call it tucked in nation. I don't tuck my t-shirt in my pants. Now I don't know why people do that. Like my daddy does that, and I go, Daddy, where you going? Like I get it if you do it, but I just don't understand why you do it. Like no. You got your t-shirt tucked in your pants, and it ain't no slack. And I'm like, sir. You are going to the mailbox. You are going to the store. Why do you got your shirt tucked in? And my daddy does it. My daddy does it in the privacy of his home with my mom when it's like 12 o'clock at night. He going to get something out of the refrigerator. Is your tank top tucked into your shorts, Daddy? Yes. Why? Is there some level of professionalism in this house that I don't know? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not tucking it. My goal for life is to never tuck in my t-shirt into my pants. Never. Like I hope I never do it.
Well, that's the first one. Okay. Well, hey, listen, you're wearing that hat. I'm gonna put nothing past you. Maybe one of these days we can work together and cover an Atlanta game up in the suburbs where they're talking about building that new stadium. If Atlanta has a puncher's chance to get a team again, it'll be in that. I think is it near Cook County, right up that way. That they're talking about building one near the Braves, right? So, don't worry. I had a lot of things that I'm planning with you, Mister Troop. Now I know there's a little bit of hockey blood inside you. I'll get done with you. You'll be like PK Subban, but you'll be way better with your energy. You know who PK Subban is?
I do not, but I'm gonna definitely probably try to research. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, look, my wife already thinks I do, way too much media, which in her mind, she's like, you always, I said, listen, it's fine. This is what I do. I got a face for media, not for TV, but for for YouTube and all that kind of stuff. No, man, I enjoy these spaces. People like yourself, Scott, Miss Candy, obviously Steven, being a former player, man, you want to be able to know that there's an avenue for you to be yourself, talk a little trash, talk a little sports. And like I say, I'm a Braves fan. And I know that the baseball has officially started. So if you really want to say something to me, you can't. We were talking about the Jets earlier. You mean the Mets? Because the Jets and the Mets are the same. It just replaced the J with an M. They're not going to do anything. I don't care that you paid a player $90 gazillion. It's the Braves. What did you say, Bryce Harper? Did you say that Ron Acuna Jr. ain't that good? What? You said that Ron Acuna Jr. He's won an MVP and he's won a World Series. What do you got, Bryce Harper? Nice hair. You got real nice hair. That's about it.
Hey, Steve, you brought me a guy who's a jack of all trades. I brought him
I
up for
already
football.
told you, man.
This guy, I'm telling you, this guy's going to wind up in more shows than he can count to a million. Great stuff,
already got him
Mr.
doing
Troop.
a bunch of them.
I don't worry about your stupid internet. You stayed for the entire show. We made it work, didn't we, Ben?
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna run from it. I'm gonna do it. Listen, I'm gonna give you is all I got, and I'm gonna get on out the way. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, I know you will. I've already gotten a good sample size of you. And I'll tell you, everybody, when I get done, will want more. But no, Katie, you don't have to worry. I'm not getting a hat there. I've already got this seriously, really, seriously, the really, seriously, really, and the Motor City Madball. And I got Ben Troop. Oh, so baby. I know you know a little bit about Dick Vitale, don't you? I used to work with him many years ago, back when I started in this business in 1979. Just so you know, his show preceded mine over at WXYZ TV and at WXYZ Radio. Did you know, Ben, that I actually got my first start in the business as a producer at ABC when I was 17 years old?
There you go.
I mean, you listen.
What do you think of that?
Your resume. Your resume is impeccable. I mean, Dickie V, listen, praying for him, Dickie V, man. I know that he be still battling cancer, man. I'm always, you're not a basketball fan if you don't know who Dickie V is. I mean, Diaper Dandies, he's awesome, baby, with a capital. I mean, he's him. So, hey, listen, Scott, listen. You don't got. I know you him. It's okay. I'm just telling you that certain things I'll never get over, and one of them is tucking in your t-shirts for no reason.
When you get done with me, I'm sure I'll have that memorized.
No, Scott. No. Tomorrow, if you go out, just count how many people got their shirt tucked in and see where they're going. They're not going anywhere important. They want to be, I don't know, studious or professional. Or, I don't know.
Listen, I don't wear a tie every time. I'm going to tell you, before Katie started tying them with other people, I used to put on a clip-on. I didn't even care. I'm a golf shirt man, brother. I am. I'm a golf shirt and a hat. If anybody's lucky enough to get me in a sport jacket, they're lucky. If they're really, really, really lucky, I'll wear a tie. But that ain't my style.
But listen, a clip-on tie with a long sleeve button-up shirt, that's fine. But there are certain things that are just unacceptable. And you listen, you don't want to get me talking about things that are unacceptable in my eyes, because I'm very, very weird. And you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I like little spoons and big forks. Don't ask me why. I'm just weird like that. Like, I say things like, I think cereal. Like, here's the thing. Do you think cereal is cold soup? I do. You just don't got to warm it up. You don't want to do this, guy. You don't want to do. I'm weird.
You ever work in sales?
Nope. I don't want to work in no sales. Nope.
You're smart. Well, let me ask you a question. Are you superstitious?
No, I'm from the South. That's it. I ain't superstitious. I'm from the South.
I'm not afraid to admit certain things on the air. But when I was in sales for a period of time, I used to put garlic in my socks and wore the same socks 5 days in a row if I kept making sales. Forget about the stupid socks. I could buy an awful lot of socks here with the amount of money I was making, brother. I'm telling you, wait till I meet you in Atlanta. We're gonna do a show together on site. Can you imagine how crazy that's gonna be? And now that I'm learning this thing about reels, and this reels is gonna go wild when they put, Steve's been helping me in that area. Candy's executing it. And now you're involved in this thing. I can imagine how many views are going to get on these things, those reels. Because the only reels I ever knew when I was growing up as a kid are the ones that you had a movie projector and then you reel. That's the only thing I know. Now all this digital reel business, all that's new to me. I'm telling you, Ben, this is unbelievable. Awesome, baby. Oh, I don't know how much sleep I'm going to get tonight. I frankly don't care because when I'm dead, I'll get all I need. And I won't look like this. I won't be skin. I'll be bones with Maverick next to me. All right, well, I'll continue the topic going. I'm telling you, Ben, you're a hit, brother. We're gonna have a blast. I know you're gonna tell me I don't tuck my T-shirt in every week. And you remind the audience to be new every week. You know that. Let everybody know you don't tuck your shirt in every week, and you wear a hat. And we might even come up with a hat of the day segment presented by Ben True. And you better get me that bio information to Miss Candy.
I will get it to you right now. Listen, right now I'm in my hometown of Swainsboro, GA. I do my nonprofit, the Uncommon Crew, every week. I'm literally about 3 hours and some change away from the house. My wife is gonna be very, very, she ain't gonna be the happiest with. She ain't gonna stay up. But I mean, look, when it comes to what you love, with people you admire, this is why I do it. Miss Candy, it was a absolute pleasure meeting you. Scott, Miss Candy, Miss Candy, listen, whatever you need to do to get you through the day dealing with Mr. Scott, may God bless you, ma'am. You are a saint. You hear me?
Deal with me. Well, everybody finish the topic. You and I will go out there and do it. You're unbelievable because she's the brains of this operation. All I do is put this stuff together, and she's the one that executes it. But you, my friend, this is good. You come as advertised, thanks to Stephen Reich show, man. This guy's unbelievable. And now I got you. Really? Seriously? Really? You see, I can get loud. But then again, if I was next to you, we'll see who can get louder. I would. I don't want to have to get vocal coach surgery, although I've only had 29. I'll see what number 30 is going to come up with. All right, Steve, now that we got through all this stuff, where was I? Okay, on the 15 games, will it happen again? Winning a Super Bowl? Oh, Ben, I love it when people get me going like that. You really, not only did your orientation turn out good, it was a smashing success. 2 S's, my brother. Go ahead, Steve.
So where I'm at on this is, obviously the meetings have come out. We're gonna have an additional game. I think it was just a matter of time before we got to it. Adding the extra game was just the slow process to say if they could do it. I just hope that not only the teams are compensated, but the players are compensated, both monetarily and medically, to make sure that they're taken care of with the extra grindage that you're going to get on your bodies. I'm always player first, so hopefully it accounts to not just more revenue for the NFL, but more opportunities for guys. I think if we're doing that, you should also expand not only the NFL active roster, but also the practice squad guys if we're doing stuff like this.
So my question to you is, I don't know if you were going to get to it. Do you think we're going to see another 15 team win?
Yeah. I was getting to that one right now.
Okay.
Now that we're having this, obviously we're going to have more opportunities to have teams get 15 wins or more. The fact that the Patriots, the Chiefs were a 15-win team this season and didn't win the Super Bowl, I think it's one of those rare things. Like it's one of these things. Like it could only be a thing for so long until the first team that does it. I do think we will have a 15+ win team win a Super Bowl within the next 10 years.
Hey Ben, Wait till I start putting some of these sound bites up from the Super Bowl that I heard. I can't. Steve's gotten a dose of them. I got some good ones I've been holding back. Wait till you see when I get Carissa Thompson on here, Jimmy Johnson, and then I get Terry Bradshaw.
That's
'Cause
my
I got
dude.
some.
I love TB.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure he'll come back sooner or later. Hopefully sooner. But go ahead, Candy.
Do I think there'll be another 15 win? Yeah, I think, especially going to 18 games. I mean, I wouldn't rule anything out. But the key is to be hot at the end of the season, going into the playoffs, and then playing well, because that's what matters. It doesn't matter what your record is in, as long as you get into the playoffs. It's how you play in the playoffs.
It's true. 15 wins. 15 wins. Lions were able to get a lot of things going there. We'll see if Ben comes back. But meanwhile, what a show
He'll get back. It's probably where he's at, because he's definitely not at home, like he said. He's
yeah, that's okay. I'm not worried about it. He really brought it tonight. This guy's
I already told you, man. He need, like, we waste our time with guys like Emmanuel Ocho and all these revolving, like, Cam Newton, stuff like that. Cam Newton was just telling us that Angel Reese is going to be the face of the WNBA, and they're going to be bigger than baseball in 5 years. Man, the dude is just talking at the side of his mouth. Ben was sitting there saying on our program, I don't know if he's trying to date Angel Reese or what. Like, is he getting the cut of the team's revenues? But I mean, that's just utter nonsense that coming out of some of these guys' mouth. To hear somebody like Ben is just refreshing to me. That's why I love picking his brain every week.
See that guy in time just to hear that, Ben. Since we're about out of topics, boy, it's been a blast with you, Ben. So, with that said, Candy's going to give one more station break, and everybody's going to have a chance to identify themselves. So we're going to get everything set up with you on the trivia. And how does that sound, Ben? You are an absolute classic, and you're exactly what we needed on this show to lay it. I can't wait to play these sound clips when you're on and all that. So looking at the four of us and whoever else we had, depending on how long Bo's able to stay on, depending on his work schedule. All right, Candy, go to station.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by Scott Morganroth, the Motor City Madmouth. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. It talks about Scott's 40-plus years in the industry and how the industry has evolved during that time. It has some pictures of a young Scott. One of them's with young Muhammad Ali. I'll let you buy the book to find out who else he's pictured in the book with. There's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a link to our merchandise store, as well as a plethora of great content. Go check it out. Check out our YouTube channel. We've got some great interviews up. There's some from the Super Bowl. There's some from Miami Pro Day. You name it, go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise, call Scott, 954-304-4941. If you want to be a guest or have show ideas, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. One last thing, a last plug. If you missed it, Chicks podcast, 7:30 Tuesday nights. We did a March Madness. We were talking about the men and the women's side, because as some of you might know or might not know, Scott and I are headed to the women's Final Four in Tampa this weekend. Back to you, Scott.
So, Ben, I have an uplifting interview that I'm going to send you, okay, via text message. It's with an MLB trainer by the name of Kevin Rand. And you want to talk about relationships in this business, Ben? This one is, I know how busy you are, so I completely understand. But if you don't mind, do you mind if I send it to you via text and you can listen to it at your convenience?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, this guy here is unbelievable. I've known Kevin since 1982 when we were both in the minor leagues for the Fort Lauderdale Yankees, and we grew up in the Yankee system, and it goes on. So, with that said, Ben, I'll send it to you as soon as we go off the air, and you'll talk to Candy real quickly and post show. But I want to tell you, please let everyone know how they get a hold of you. Ben, you are a hit tonight. I'm telling you, you're awesome, brother. I'm proud of you.
And you can follow me on all social media platforms at BenTroop84. That's BenTroupe 84. And And just keep on listening to me. I appreciate, Scott, and obviously Stephen, you telling Scott about me. I mean, I'm humble to meet you, Miss Candy. Heard a lot about you. I mean, I enjoy myself when I'm around good people. God has always given me, the opportunities, and He's given me the gift of understanding, great people when I'm around them. So, hey, man, I'm a filling station. You want to be filled with encouragement. You want to be filled with energy, enthusiasm. Don't hang around me. But if you do want those things, I'm here. So, keep it simple.
Totally no, I haven't laughed so much on a show like this in ages. And you're the major reason. I'll see if you wear that hat every week or you come up with a new one. I guess that's the only mystery, but we'll learn about your T-shirt stuff as time goes on. Go ahead, Steve.
Man, we got a bunch of stuff going on this week. Obviously, you can follow me on Facebook. Just type in Stephen Rochelle RYCHEL. I'm easy to find. Facebook, Instagram. If you look down the bottom there, the Twitter handle's right there. It's Steve Sports Talk 1. We got a lot of stuff going on this week. You're talking hockey. I'm going to be talking to former enforcer Frank Bialowas tomorrow night. Tomorrow afternoon is going to be my show with Ben here and JB. We're going to be talking to former Eagle and Miami Hurricane Chris T. Jones on the program tomorrow. We got bare knuckle fighters coming on at the end of the week. Jessica I just signed with BKFC, former UFC and Bellator fighter. She was just on the Ariel Hawani show, made the announcement today. So I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on over on the Just Blaze Clothing Network, aka JB Sports. So make sure you guys are locked in. Make sure you're showing not just me love and Ben love, but the program here. If you just happen to be coming across it because of it's a clip or you're just catching the episode, make sure you smash that subscribe button.
And I'm glad that you become my new designated co-host, Steve. It's really been a lot of fun having you on week in and week out. Now I got Ben. My gosh, life is good. And of course, Candy, what can I say about her? I mentioned it earlier. She's a Rolls Royce, and she's really a Rolls Royce. And I'll tell you one thing about her, Ben. When we were at Super Bowl 59, this woman picked up 35 videos. She was a video machine out there. When she got on a roll, Ben, she got on a roll. It'll be interesting to see what she does over the weekend. And she gets them up there. She just has a good time. Her attitude is, we got bucket boots, posting and putting videos up, not necessarily in that order. She just gets them up there and just doesn't say a word. She's quiet, but her words speak for itself. That's why she continues to go to every big event. And Ben, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person as time goes on. Stephen, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Once you become a writer, then we'll be able to get you credentials too. And Ben, if I can help you get into events through the South Florida Tribune, I'll do everything in my power to help you any way I possibly can. But we're looking forward to your commentary every Tuesday night on Inside the Pigskin. This is a new Inside the Pigskin, and this is a group of commentators who might have a few people here and there, but this is going to be the core. Oh, as long as it can be here, Candy, and whoever else I come up with. So, well, that does it for this edition of Inside the Pigskin. My name is Scott Morgan, Roth Motor City Roundmouth. Please be joined by Bo Crouch. Candy, Ben Troop makes his debut in a very big way. Looking forward to more of him. And Stephen Reichel, well, what can I say? He brings it to me every week, and I can only imagine how much better this group is going to get as we continue to work together as time goes on. So that does it for us. We'll see you next Tuesday night, and have a great football week, everybody.